Hey everyone, welcome back to Make the Music, and today we're in part 10 of our series, Building a Song from Scratch. I can't believe we made it. We're into the mastering stage of our song. If you're here, leave a comment down below if you're watching this in the future. Congratulations on making it this far. You've accomplished a feat that not a lot of people are able to do, and now I'm in the mastering stage. And so what is my approach here? Well, I rendered out my mix that we saw in the previous video, and now I'm going to start mastering it. And what I like to do is drag in a reference track of a similar style so I can match up the EQ compression settings and get my track as dialed in as possible. Now, mastering is not going to save a bad mix, a bad production, a bad anything. Okay, so you have to get those things down first. I really like to really hone in on my mix in that mixing stage. And sometimes when I get to mastering, I actually go, oh, wait, there was a mixing problem. I need to go back and make a change. This happens all the time. So don't worry if that's happening to you. So I always make sure that the mix is dialed in. It is for me here. And then it's just about getting it to sound good with other tracks of a similar style. So when someone pulls it up on their playlist, they're not completely thrown off because it's way quieter or it's clipping in too loud or the EQ settings are weird. It's just to make sure that final layer of, finishing touch is there. So here's my mastering approach. I drag in this track, Fire by Barnes Courtney. It sounds like this. It sounds, in a similar genre of my track, right? Not gonna be exactly the same. And the point of this is not to get my track to sound exactly the same as the reference, but comparable to the reference. If someone switched to my track, from that track, would it throw them off? And that's what I'm trying to do here. Pretty simple mastering chain for this track. I didn't need to do a whole lot because the mix came together well. So going in here, I know I added a lot of low mids in the mix. It turns out when I compared it to my reference, there was a little too much. So I dipped out some of that in the EQ section here, and it needed just some overall top. When I compared it to this track here, it's just way more like crispy top end. That needed to be added. And so I added that there. I used the limiter by Waves to get some initial limiting. I know I like to use limiters in stages. I've taught this. I have so many videos on mastering on my channel. Please look on my channel to learn how to master your track, like to get it to sound like any other track. But I use this limiter here. I just have it on the mastering setting. That's doing about 3 dB of mastering there. Then I come in with the Slate FGX2, the secret weapon that could get your track to any level. And I was shooting for, I threw in a VU meter that -8, -9-ish RMS level, -4, -5 LUFS level. So that's hitting about 5 RMS. This is sitting at 8. That's plenty loud. And when I put a VU meter on my reference, it's as loud as it was too. My bridge section was a similar volume. My demons are catching up with me. So that's my mastering approach. Pretty simple. I will bypass all the plugins. Obviously adding a ton of volume. Let's take the EQ off. It may seem a bit subtle, but it's adding that extra layer of top end to the entire track. And so that was my mastering approach. Pretty straightforward. Other things that you might forget is make sure to trim the beginnings and edges of your track. So I determined this is how I wanted it to start. Just a little bit of time, nothing crazy. And then I had the track basically end abruptly and then fade out kind of quick. So you can have a long ending, short beginning, long beginning, right? It doesn't matter. It all depends on your track. But for me, this was a very straight to the point track. Quick intro, get in and get out. It's always good, though, to leave a couple seconds of fade out, unless it's deliberately on an album where it fades into the next track or something. I like to leave a couple seconds of fade out there. And I just use the fade out control in Reaper to make sure it cuts off any tails or ends there. Make sure you don't have a crash ringing out or something crazy going on. And it's not jarring for your listener. That's basically my approach there. And so what I did was I just went render. And so I rendered the track out to a WAV file. And that's what I'm going to use to upload to streaming services in our final video. So our final video next week is going to cover artwork, and then finally releasing and uploading. I'm going to use DistroKid for that. That's what I've used for many, many years. It's very reliable for me. If you have any questions about the mastering stage, leave a comment down below. If you've made it this far, leave a comment and like and subscribe to the channel. A pretty short video here, but mastering, it's pretty easy if you've done a good job in the mixing and production stage. It's kind of just a formality of getting that track to fit with other tracks. If you're looking for other mastering videos, look on my channel or click here, and I have a ton of videos on how to get a good master in the home studio with various different tracks. So go ahead and watch there. Thank you so much for watching. Anyways, I'll see you in the final part of this series. I'll see you guys next time.